My name is Leroy Johnson. I was drafted in 1969. When I went to service and to basic at Fort Benning, Georgia. AIT at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Then August 4th went to Vietnam. And while I served for 1 year in Vietnam, come back to the States. While I was in Vietnam, while I served in Vietnam, I was with 4th Infantry Division, 1st and 22nd, in Pleiku, Bong Song, and An Kay. While I was in Bong Song, I was attached to 173rd Airborne Division, running the mission out of LZ English. Yeah, I earned a couple of awards while I was over there. The highest one I earned was a Silver Star, which I got in Cambodia, when my point element got pinned down, and I had to take command of my platoon, because nobody else moved at that time but me. So I took command of my platoon and destroyed the enemy position where we could move out. I had one person to get killed, my squad leader. He got shot in the left side of his head, and both of us was medevacked out on the same medevac ship. I got a little shrapnel wound in the left side. I didn't receive a Purple Heart for that because it wasn't a serious wound. But then later on, I got my Army Commendation with the V device. I was set up on a perimeter, and I seen movement out front, and I didn't see anybody go out by my position. So I went and investigated, and 3 enemies out there. Think back to my training and figure out what to do in that situation, and come out pretty well clean on that one. And I had a friend that went over there with me. We was over there maybe 2 weeks. He got killed. His second week over there. His name was Sergeant Williams. Now on K, they sprayed a herbicide. And I got, and some of that herbicide was called Agent Orange, and it caused different illnesses. I'm suffering with, I had prostate cancer, and I was suffering with high blood pressure, and I'm a diabetic from the herbicide came in contact with. The hardest part for me was getting used to sleeping in the jungle, on the ground, going to sleep wet, waking up wet during the monsoon. The monsoon lasted 6 months at a time. So 6 months out of a year, you were wet, you go to sleep wet, you wake up wet, you eat wet, everything you done in the jungle, you were wet. It was hardly a dry day. And you walk up and down mountains, up and down mountains, up and down mountains. And we climbed one mountain for 17 days, and they never did get a third of the way. And we lost a couple of resupply choppers due to the fog. There was so much fog on that mountain that we couldn't get resupplied. And we were resupplied with our food and ammunition for maybe 30 days. So we had to survive with what little food we had, and off the land, so you know, like berries and stuff like that. Well, we come out the field. We're supposed to come out the field every 90 days, but it didn't happen that way. We always get extended on the mission. When I found out about the Silver Star, I was back at the transit area, and my company commander, he called me to the orderly room and told me I was put in for the Silver Star, and they gave me a little ceremony and stuff, you know, and that kind of made me feel a little good, you know, like I was at another ceremony up here at the courthouse years back, and the colonel told everybody up there, said, You had to earn that. They don't give them away. So I earned that Silver Star by saving my. I was scared a couple of times, and but after a while, after you've been there for a while, the scary part goes. It kind of goes away. You kind of fall into what you got to do, and you got to concentrate on your job. You don't have too much time to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
What the military call it gun-ho.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gun-ho. Then all your friends, everybody worked together as one. There wasn't nothing black, white. Everybody was one.
Mm-hmm.
No color. And you get to know the people all over the world and all over the United States that you serve with. And it's kind of hard to leave them. You have to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the only thing you had other than your gun, and your little food, and your friends, your Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that faith. The faith keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
Media say one thing, but once I got over there to see, it's a different thing from what the media is telling the people over here. I feel like the media put some stuff out that wasn't true. But I was on guard duty one night, and had a new guy come in the country. He was on guard duty, and he was kind of on the jittery side because he didn't know what was going on. And the changing of the guards, he accidentally shot to kill the other guy who was going to bring him the radio for his guard watch. That kind of aggravated me a little bit. And right there, that kind of told me so he didn't really pay too much attention in his training. When changing the guard, he got to ask questions. He got to say halt, who goes there, and with the password. But he didn't do that. He shot first. Well, just to be back on American soil again. But we, as a Vietnam veteran, we ran into problems when we got back home. We wasn't recognized. As a veteran, they called us all different kinds of names, like baby killers and such. Everybody had a negative attitude towards us, and it took years and years and years for them to come around and realize that we was over there to do a job. We didn't, it's just a job we had to do, to serve our country, keep our country safe. My sister told me when I got back home, said, "You changed." I said, "I'm still the same person. I thought I was, She said, "You ain't the same brother I had before you went over there. So you're different. Something changed about you in a year."
Mm-hmm.
And I come to see I did change.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back from Vietnam, we didn't have vet centers and stuff like that where you could go to counseling in groups and talk about your situation, because the other veterans had similar situations that you were in. And we all turn our lives around, and they can do it too. Let's go get a little counseling twice a week. Tallahassee Vet Center. If they need any phone numbers or anything, they can contact me on my job. Nightmares, and you can't sleep. You wake up hollering. You wake up in cold sweats. A lot of times you can't sleep. And if you go outside at night, you look at a dark area, it'll bring Vietnam back to you. It remind you, and you say, "I slept in that stuff right there." In that darkness, just the darkness alone will bring it back. And I don't go to fireworks. The noise it brings it right back. It have you jumping. I just can't handle fireworks either. But right now I can't sit with my back to the door. It's hard for me to sit with my back to the door. I got to sit where I can see everything. It's like I'm on guard duty. So it hurts you in a lot of ways. It just makes your life miserable. You know? But once you get you some help, you can kind of live with ease. And speaking of medication, I'm on quite a few medications myself. I got mood medication to help me get through the day. And I got another medication to help me sleep and minimize the dreams and stuff that I have from the conflict we had over there in Vietnam. So far, I inspired a lot of young people to go into the military. They ask me questions and how is military. I said the military is what you make it. You can make it a bad life or you can make it a good life. But the hardest part of the military is the training you go through. They're training you for that wherever you're going to serve, overseas, stateside. They train you for everything. And it's really up to you to catch a hold and learn. The best thing you need to do is listen to all your classes. Don't go to sleep in your class. You're going to miss out on a lot of important stuff that'll help you in that walk if you happen to go. But like I said, we had good times, we had some bad times. And I was just glad to get back to the States when after my 1 year